am having a day. I think we all have days like this. Those terrible, horrible, no good, very bad days where nothing particularly tragic happens, and yet it still feels like the universe is joyfully conspiring against us. That's my day today. I was a klutz and I tripped over some of my equipment. I am fine. My equipment is not. I've tried to record this segment 3 times, and there's been a technical error every single time. I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm having a pretty bad hair day. And then to top it all off, I poured a foundation on my brand new sweatshirt, and I can't get it out. So yeah, nothing tragic. But I still feel like I need to cheer myself up, so I thought I would try making a fun video today. And several of you recently requested that I do a haul video. Because when I went on vacation, my low-buy also went on vacation, as per the rules of my year-long no-buy. So I bought some stuff, and I thought today we would do a try-on haul. Once we've gotten an overview of the goods in montage form, then we can break down some of the most interesting items, talk about some of the details, and maybe examine the wisdom/folly of my vacation decisions. But I need to stop stalling and do something about this hair. Maybe I'll just put on some stage hair. But no matter what, I better put on my dancing shoes.
This is my brand new sweatshirt, but look at what I did. I cut foundation on it, and now it is solid. I tried to wash it, but that stain won't come out. Please tell me you know how to get this foundation out. Send help in the comments. Send help. Tell me what soap to use. Send help in the comments. Send help. Tell me what soap you use.
Ooh, I totally forgot. Yesterday was leg day. And so my calves are on fire. But it was worth it. I feel like the best cure to a day like today is just to put on music and jump around like an idiot. I highly recommend it. But now I need a drink. And that makes it the perfect time to sit down with a cup of tea and talk about the haul. First, before I forget, if you happen to see something in this video that you like, I am going to share the links in the show notes to everything that I can find. Before we delve into the psychology of my purchases, I just want to mention that 2 of the items that I showed weren't purchases, they were gifts from my parents. One of them was the beach mug. My dad and I now have matching mugs. And the other thing was the shearling slippers. When I take a closer look at the items that I bought myself, I've got a list over here. Other than the jewelry, because that was kind of fancy, it was a pretty casual loungewear haul. I didn't make a whole lot of really stylish choices, but I think that's actually an encouraging development. And that might seem counterintuitive when we look at like my ultimate style stumbler goal, which is to develop my very own sense of a beautiful stage aesthetic that I can also translate into real life. And if we look at this haul in isolation, it kind of looks like I'm just turning into a gym rat who wears a lot of gold jewelry. But here's why I think it's a cool cool development. If we look at the purchases I made, it seems that I naturally gravitated towards clothing categories that I feel like I fully understand. I have been puttering through a declutter of my closet all year, and the majority of the clothing that I have passed on has been in the loungewear category. In other words, I feel like I've been doing a pretty good job of curating my comfy clothes, and I have a pretty good understanding of my needs and wants in that department. For example, I decluttered all of my flannel shirts because they all had something in common. They were all very fitted. And I've just come to realize that if I'm going to reach for a flannel shirt, I want it to be soft and grungy and oversized so that when I put it on, I feel like it's a time machine transporting me back to the 90s so that I can be in the Blind Melon No Rain video. You know, the one with the little girl dressed as a bumblebee? I feel like she's me. If you do not know that video, I will link it below because it's a very good song and a very good video, so you should definitely see it. When it came to the sweatshirts, I was mainly just looking for souvenirs because I actually decluttered most of my souvenir shirts simply because the materials were getting so worn and rough feeling that they were irritating whenever I wore them. And I just wasn't reaching for them anymore. And so the sweatshirt, the one that I got the stain on, that one is just from my favorite surf shop, and it just lists my favorite beaches on it. And the tie-dye shirt just has like the name of our vacation spot plastered blatantly across the front. So that met all the criteria there. And both of them are a mostly cotton mix. And so I'm hoping that they will stay soft and comfy for much longer than my old, much cheaper, but 100% polyester souvenir shirts did. But I feel like the Wanakome shirt, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing the brand name correctly, but it was the white sweatshirt that you saw in the video. I feel like this was a different kind of sweatshirt purchase. I mean, yes, it's loungewear, but I feel like this is more elevated loungewear. Like the very first time I touched this in the boutique, I was shocked at how soft it was. And I also really, really like the little details of it and the different materials that they use. And wearing this literally feels like wearing a hug, but with a sailing rope, which is not a combination I would have thought of, but it works. I chose to size up when I purchased this sweatshirt simply because the cut of it is like a very slim fit. And I was kind of thinking ahead, and I was thinking that I might want to wear some thicker shirts for some layering and some warmth in the winter. And I didn't know for sure if those sorts of things would fit underneath this if I bought it in my actual size. And I do think I'll get a lot of wear out of it that way because I already have, and it's very comfortable that way. But had I not been thinking like a New Englander with like an eye to the winter and practicality and layering and warmth, I think if I was solely thinking of style, I probably would have bought this in my actual size and then paired it with, you know, a thinner material undershirt or maybe one of the crop tops that I bought, because then it would look more tailored and neat. And because this is a nice cut and because the material is so nice, I just think that would have looked finer, you know, but as it stands, I still think it was a wise purchase. I think the most stylish clothing that I purchased on this trip was probably the 3 crop tops. Not because I necessarily think that they're particularly stylish in and of themselves, although they are made with ribbed materials, which I guess is kind of trendy right now. But I see them more as like basic building blocks to create an outfit. Like I wouldn't normally wear them as a focal piece. Like as you saw them today, with just me pairing the crop top with the jeans and nothing else, that's not how I would typically wear them. I just wore them that way so that you could see what they were. I would wear them more like, you know, as layering pieces like I am right now. So I don't think that you would really recognize them as crop tops because I would tend to pair them with very high-waisted jeans or pants and then wear something like a shirt or an open blouse or a kimono over them. And so I think in reality, even though you might see, you know, a little bit of my midriff, really they just function as a tank top that gives me cleaner lines without me necessarily having to tuck things in. Because I do tuck things in, but like, I don't know why. I'm just not a fan of it. I just feel like they were practical purchases that will also help me build stylish outfits. So although they're not the star of the show, I do feel like they'll play a good supporting role in my wardrobe. As for the jewelry, I went a little crazy. It all started with an innocent little anklet. You see, I have had this dainty little gold-colored anklet for years, and I wear it pretty much like every summer, all summer. But here's the thing, it's not really gold. And I know that because sometimes, every once in a while, it would turn my ankle green. And I wasn't a fan. So I thought, you know what? This is the year. I would like to find a dainty little real gold anklet that won't turn my ankle green. That's when I found it. A shop called Dune that makes bespoke jewelry for beach bunnies.
That's me! I'm a beach bunny.
They make custom gold and silver pieces that integrate sand from your favorite beach. Doesn't matter, you can bring the sand. They have a huge stock of sand from beaches from all over the world. And I was just like, this is very possibly the last time my family is ever going to be able to come here on vacation. I want to take all the beaches home with me. So I did. They made me a dainty gold anklet with sand mixed from 2 beaches where I always go for very long walks. They also made me a pair of earrings with sand from a beach near a pavilion that my family would always go to listen to a big band play. They made me a necklace with sand from 2 beaches, the one I go to watch the sun rise, and the one I go to watch the sun set. Kind of perfect, right? And then they made me a ring with sand from a beach where I have memories of holding hands with a loved one. It just felt like the perfect way to carry my memories with me. I wish I could say that my wild jewelry extravaganza ended there, but it didn't. My mom and I found a new boutique. Well, I don't think it was new, but it was new to us. And while we were browsing there, I found this ring. It's by a designer named Kenda Kist. Her business is called Kenda Kist and will be linked below. It's just a simple ring. It's a hammered oval made of gold vermeil. But it kind of spoke to me because, generations of my family had been coming to this spot on vacation for so many years. And I was, watching us make new memories with the next generation now. And all of a sudden, it looked like we were coming full circle. And this was going to be the last time we were possibly going to be able to go there as a family. It just felt like it fit. But on a less emotional note, I also felt like it matched pretty well with the bespoke jewelry that I had chosen. So I thought it would be a good choice. And it seems like it was because I've been wearing it a lot. And my last jewelry purchase was this. It's called the Aurora necklace from Native Gem. And I didn't really necessarily buy it as a souvenir. I got it for pure nostalgic reasons because it reminded me of a necklace I had when I was a little girl. I mean, it's not exactly the same. This is like the updated, more adult version of that. I mean, this one has like opal and pink topaz and tourmaline quartz. Mine as a kid was like made of plastic. But I don't know. The second I saw this, I was like, oh, my childhood. And I don't know. It's been a rough 3 years. I was like grasping at straws. I was like, I want to be a kid again. So that's why I bought this one. As for the plethora of jewelry purchases, it kind of felt like a lot, especially because I haven't been purchasing anything all year. So it kind of felt like going from 0 to 100. But for some reason, I don't feel like I went overboard because I feel like each piece had a reason and each piece had a meaning, and all of them are made with high quality materials that don't turn my skin green, but should also last forever. So I should be able to enjoy them for a very long time. And the truth is, I've been wearing them pretty much every day. And when I'm not wearing them, I don't even put them in my jewelry box. In fact, I store them out in the open on display on a shelf so that every once in a while I can look over, and every time I see like a little glint from the gold, I'm reminded of those shiny memories from my childhood beaches. So no regrets. And my remaining purchases were pretty much just like practical things that I usually buy every year just because I use them up. So for example, every year I get a bathing suit. And so this year I got one from Carve. I tend to like their bathing suits because they make matching rash guards. A rash guard is basically just like a long sleeve shirt made of bathing suit material, but it also has SPF 50 in it. So that means that like it'll match my bikini and I can go swimming in it and I'm going to have sun protection. And that means I have to use a lot less sunscreen. So I really like rash guards, but I feel like I'm the only person in Germany who wears SPF shirts. Like everybody else is hanging out at the lake topless and I'm there in like a long sleeve rash guard. I might be the prudish New Englander, but I'm not going to get sun damage. Then I got 2 pairs of sandals. I normally do that every year, but I'm wondering if that was overkill this year because normally I buy Ufu flip-flops because they are like walking on clouds. The soles of those flip-flops are so cushy that like I can walk on asphalt for days in those things and my legs will never get tired. But because they're so soft, they're also not that durable. And so I tend to use up 2 pairs every year. And so this year I decided to change things up and I went back to an old favorite from my lifeguarding days. I used to wear Tevas when I worked as a lifeguard. Teva sandals, like at least the ones that I used to get back in the day, you could like run, jump, swim, climb rocks in those things. And like they were super. And I was just kind of thinking back to my Croatian vacation this year. With those really rocky cliffs. And if I ever go back there, I would, I really missed having Tevas when I was there. And so I was like, maybe I should go back to those Tevas. And so I got 2 pairs of Tevas. And maybe that's overkill because the soles on those are cushy, like they're soft, but they're not that soft. And so I'm wondering if maybe I only needed to get 1. But they're the sort of thing I'm going to wear anyway. So even though I might have gone overkill on the sandals, I don't think it was like the most unwise purchase ever. And then I got the Converse sneakers. They were on consignment for $3. And the current shoes that I had literally had holes where my toes were sticking out. Like I could wave to you with my big toe on both shoes. So I was like, yeah, it's probably time for me to replace my sneakers. And so I found those $3 Converse and I was like, I'll take them. That turned out to be not the best because like they fit just fine until I have to wear them for long walks. Like if I'm just running errands, if I'm just going out to the grocery store, they're fine. But if I have to like go into the city and spend the day walking, then I can't wear those. So that wasn't the best purchase, but $3 wasn't a huge risk, so it's okay. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I feel so much better. I think it was the dancing and it was the hanging out. So I appreciate it. If you'd like to keep hanging out, I've got another haul here and a Croatian vacation plus makeup video here. So if those sound interesting, feel free to check them out. Other than that, I hope we can all remember that even stumbling can be a form of moving forward. So let's stumble in style.